Hey everyone, this is Dan and I want to tell you I did something pretty incredible today. I lifted 2.5 million pounds. That's pretty impressive, right? Well, actually don't get too impressed. I actually didn't lift 2.5 million pounds today. Let me kind of explain how that works. I work out using this workout machine called Tonal. You may have heard of it. It's advertised all over the place. It has probably over 100 workouts based on kind of what you want to accomplish. It mounts on your wall, has this big screen and a trainer coach that you work out with every day. Well, it automatically adjusts the weights for the type of exercise, and then it tracks every single workout that you do. So I didn't lift 2.5 million pounds today, but today my cumulative workouts hit 2.5 million pounds. So I lift kind of an average between 12,000 and 14,000 per workout, somewhere in there. So if I divide that into 2.5 million, I don't know, somewhere around 180 to 200 workouts. Now, these workouts are spread out over the year. And of course, there's days off. Can't work out every single day. And what I noticed is it wasn't all at once, but pound after pound after pound after pound, it started to compound. Now, the reason I tell you this is because just like lifting 2.5 million pounds, wealth typically isn't created in a day either. For most of us, building wealth and making money is a daily grind. Saving, investing, being patient. I call it the 4 keys to building wealth. If you combine the 4 keys and let it do the heavy lifting, you'll get there. Well, what are those 4 keys? Well, they're time, they're compounding, leverage, and tax advantages. And let me just quickly touch on each one real quick. Time. We all need time for our money to grow. And none of us know how much time we have on this planet. So we've got to get started today, right now, right this minute. And then we've got compounding. Now, we refer to a compounding period as the time it takes for your money to double. So for instance, if I have $100, the compounding period or the time it takes for it to grow to 200, then to 400, 800, 1600, and so on. Then with each compounding period, obviously your wealth grows. You want as many compounding periods as you can get, which is why time and starting right away is critical. The more often you can compound, the faster your wealth grows. Sounds reasonable, right? Well, are you familiar with the rule of 72? It's pretty simple. Divide your rate of return into 72, and that tells you how many years it will take for your money to double. So as an example, if I divide 10% into 72, it's about 7.2 years for $100 to become $200. The key is to get a high return, and at least as high as you can, stay within your comfort zone of risk, and then give it as many compounding periods as you can. Remember, losses or negative returns can kill compounding. Okay, so what if you were able to get 20% returns? That means your money's doubling every 3.6 years. What about a 30% return? Well, now you're doubling your money every 2.4 years. Now think about this. Bitcoin has averaged over 86% over the last 12 years. That means your money is doubling every 8 months. Think about that. Crazy, right? Well, let me tell you, with our strategy, we expect returns far above the average, but I don't like to show more than about 15% paid out in fiat currency because the numbers can be staggering. But because we don't pay it in fiat, we pay out the distributions in Bitcoin, well, the numbers actually can become staggering. Now, obviously, we can't put any guarantees that we're going to achieve those numbers, but they have been very doable for us over the past few years. So that's the power of compounding. And the sooner you begin uninterrupted compounding, the greater your wealth can be. Now, maybe you've been saving and investing already, which is great, and hopefully you are. But are you using the next 2 keys as well? What are they? Well, the 3rd key is leverage. Leverage is when you get $1 doing the work of $2, then $3, and so on. The easiest way to understand leverage is when you buy a home using a mortgage. Even though you may have only put down, say, 20%, you get the benefit of 100% of the home's price appreciation. If you buy a $500,000 home, you put $100,000 down or 20%, and within a few years your home goes up, say 10%, that means your home or your house is now worth $550,000. But you made $50,000. However, You only put $100,000 down, which means based on what you put in, that's a 50% return on your money, even though the home only increased by 10%. That's the power of leverage. But keep in mind, leverage is kind of a two-edged sword. It accelerates the good, but it also accelerates the bad. So you have to use wise leverage, which is why you want to use investments that are predictable. Now, the last key is tax advantages. You see, taxes are the single largest expense any of us will ever pay. So to reduce or even eliminate taxes can create wealth that much faster. Gives you more money to put in your pocket to save and invest. And if your income is tax advantaged or tax-free, this is a major boost in retirement. You see, tax-deferred retirement plans that so many people invest into are sooner or later taxed. They're actually tax bombs, if you will. And what tax bracket are you going to be in 15, 20, 30 years from now? So it is best to avoid taxes and eliminate taxes, not just defer them whenever possible. Now, just like lifting 2.5 million pounds and growing your wealth, it doesn't happen overnight. It's the compounding effect of one workout, then 2, then 10, then 100, and so on. You see, I can't lift 2.5 million pounds in a day or even a week, but I can certainly do it over multiple workouts. When it comes to growing your wealth, you need a kind of a money printing machine, if you will. And I don't mean counterfeit printing press. Only the government gets to do that. The best income producing machine is you. The problem is with so many people, they don't save the income that the machine or you created. The money gets spent or sent to the bank or to satisfy another debt. So the first step is to build your wealth from your machine. Then as you can accumulate assets, they too can produce the income. This is why we call it leveraged life. We not only leverage the life that you work, we leverage the life insurance, but we also leverage the time you work so that the money is working harder for you 24/7, 365. The objective is to get other income producing machines, if you will, working for you. Now, we've produced a strategy called Y-Surance that has the best machines working for you, producing that monthly income. It's achieved through investing in the token, where you get the monthly yield from the production, and you also have the safety net and the tax advantages of the life insurance. What we produce is newly minted Bitcoin delivered to your wallet every single month. Now, once this machine of leveraging life insurance and the yield from the token are firing on all cylinders, well, the day will come where you'll have more income being produced from yields, if you will, than you're making at your job. Well, that's the time that you have true financial freedom. When your money makes as much or more than you do at your job, now you can do anything you want. So how do you build enough wealth to do that? Again, just like lifting 2.5 million pounds, you start today. You let the magic of time and compounding do the heavy lifting. You just keep feeding the beast. As your capital base grows, you start to leverage it into other assets that produces the cash flow. Then leverage into assets that have tax advantages and take the money that you would have paid in taxes and throw that into the wealth building machine as well. That is the edge you need. Everything in life, if you just do what most people aren't, won't, or can't, you'll find success. Think about this. If I challenged you to read 2,500 pages of any book of your choice today, you'd probably say, that's crazy. There's no way I can do that today. And I'd agree. But if I say read 10 pages a day of the books of your choosing, and you have 250 days to do it, now could you get it done? Well, sure you could. And better yet, if those were books that inspired you or taught you something that you were interested in, or motivated you to work harder, or be a better person, or taught you about money, investing, anything that you were interested in, can you imagine the growth you would have in just even a year's time? You have 365 days a year. If you took off weekends and a couple of holidays, that leaves you at least 250 days. At 10 pages of a good book or even an audiobook, think about how many books you could read if you hit 2,500 pages in those 250 days. Think about what you could learn or become. It's like eating an elephant, right? You do it one bite at a time. I tend to listen to audiobooks. I can knock out 2 or 3 books in no time, just driving around, listening, or even while relaxing. Money, investing, and building wealth is the same way in the history of the world. Now, you're not going to become a millionaire overnight, but you can become one. In fact, it's easier now than it ever has been. You're not going to be worth 100 million overnight, but you can get there if you want to. Even a billionaire is in reach if you really want it. Leveraging life is the same thing. I can't promise you overnight success, but I can tell you that you'll have over life success if you follow these 4 keys. You can't lift 2.5 million pounds today, but over time, no problem. You can't read 2,500 pages today, over time, no problem. You can't turn $1 into millions today, but over time, no problem. The simple and easy daily steps can accomplish anything with enough time. But remember, you never get back yesterday. So today is the day to start. I remember when I was a kid hearing the phrase, today is the tomorrow you worried about yesterday. Now think about that. Today is the day. So let's get your plan in place. Turn this thing out. Well, that's it for this video. I want you to grab my calendar link below. Let's have a strategy session. Let me show you some calculators. Let me show you how you can do it. And also, never forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss a video. And never miss a video. Hang out with me every week. Grab some time on my calendar. Let's have a quick chat. Until next time, take care.